He arrived at the Interstellar Medical Station without expecting anything unusual. Daniel Reyes had traveled across several star systems as part of a small human trade convoy, fixing machines, checking engines, and making sure everything worked smoothly during long journeys through space. The station itself was enormous, larger than any city he had ever seen. It floated quietly near a pale blue star, shining like a ring of silver light against the dark emptiness. Ships of different shapes and sizes moved slowly around it, docking and leaving in organized patterns that looked almost like a dance. Humans were still new to the galactic community, and Daniel often felt like an outsider among alien species. He had grown used to curious looks and quiet whispers when he walked through public corridors. Some aliens stared because of his appearance, others because of the reputation humans carried. Many believed humans were unpredictable or overly emotional. Daniel had learned to ignore it. He focused on his work and treated everyone with calm respect. He came to the station because of a small accident during maintenance on his ship. A tool slipped, causing a minor energy discharge that left him with light burns on his arm and brief dizziness. The ship's medic insisted he receive a full examination at the nearest advanced facility, and the station happened to be on their route. Daniel expected a quick scan, maybe a lecture about safety, and then he would return to his ship within an hour. The inside of the medical wing felt peaceful compared to the busy docking bays. Soft lights glowed along curved walls. Transparent panels displayed flowing symbols from different alien languages. The air carried a faint, clean scent, almost like rain after a storm. Automated assistants moved quietly between rooms, guiding patients toward examination chambers. Daniel followed a floating guide device that displayed his name and appointment details. Eventually, it stopped at a wide door that opened silently. Inside stood Dr. Lyra, an alien physician known across the station for her precise work and calm personality. Her species had smooth silver-blue skin and eyes that reflected light like glass. She greeted Daniel with polite curiosity, studying him carefully without appearing unfriendly. She had worked with many species before, but had only examined a few humans. The first thing she noticed was how relaxed he seemed despite being surrounded by unfamiliar technology. Many new patients showed signs of anxiety, yet Daniel looked more curious than nervous. He glanced around the room, observing equipment with the interest of an engineer rather than the worry of someone seeking treatment. Lyra explained the procedure in clear terms. A full body scan would analyze his injuries, check internal systems, and compare his biological patterns with existing human medical records. Daniel nodded and joked lightly about hoping she would not discover anything too strange. Lyra responded with a small smile, though she secretly wondered how much of humanity remained unknown to the galaxy. Daniel stepped onto the scanning platform. Gentle lights moved across his body while invisible waves measured cellular activity. At first, everything appeared normal. Minor burns showed early healing signs, and his internal organs displayed healthy function. Lyra entered notes into the system, preparing to conclude the examination quickly. Then a small alert appeared on her console. She assumed it was a calibration error. The reading suggested accelerated tissue repair beyond typical human averages. She adjusted the scan sensitivity and ran another pass. The result repeated itself, even stronger this time. Lyra frowned slightly. She had studied human medical files, and while humans possessed resilience compared to some species, this level of adaptation seemed unusual. She ordered a deeper genetic analysis, activating layers of scanning normally reserved for complex cases. Daniel noticed her change in posture. "Everything okay?" he asked casually. "Yes," she replied, though her tone carried uncertainty. "I am verifying a detail." The room grew quieter as advanced equipment began working. Symbols moved quickly across the display, mapping strands of DNA into colorful patterns. Lyra watched closely, expecting confirmation of a minor anomaly. Instead, she froze. The genetic structure unfolding before her contained patterns she had never seen. Human DNA appeared layered, with sequences folded inside others, like hidden instructions. Some sections remained inactive, yet highly structured, as if waiting for specific conditions before activating. It resembled an adaptive blueprint rather than a fixed design. "This can't be possible," she whispered, before realizing she had spoken aloud. Daniel sat up slightly, now clearly curious. "Should I be worried?" Lyra hesitated. She knew she should remain calm and professional, but the discovery challenged everything she understood about biological evolution. Most species developed stable genetic patterns after reaching technological maturity. Humanity's genome, however, looked unfinished, flexible, almost alive in ways she could not fully explain. She ran another scan to confirm the results. The system verified the data repeatedly, leaving no doubt that the anomaly was real. A quiet notification activated station protocols. The system flagged the scan as containing unknown genetic complexity and requested authorization for further review. Lyra quickly placed the examination under private medical protection, preventing automatic transmission to external departments. She needed time to understand what she was seeing before involving others. Daniel watched her carefully. He sensed she was trying to remain calm, and that made him more curious than afraid. "You said humans were new here," he said. "Maybe your database just needs updating." Lyra gave a thoughtful look. "Perhaps," she said slowly. "But your genetic structure suggests something more than incomplete records." She began asking questions about human biology, environment, and history. Daniel explained that Earth contained many climates and unpredictable conditions. Humans had survived ice ages, natural disasters, and countless challenges throughout their history. He spoke casually, not realizing how extraordinary his words sounded to someone from a species raised in controlled environments. As Lyra listened, she compared his descriptions with the genetic data. The hidden sequences seemed related to adaptation under stress. Instead of evolving slowly over generations, humans appeared capable of activating short-term adjustments within a single lifetime. She wondered how many other species had overlooked this possibility simply because humanity appeared ordinary on the surface. Meanwhile, outside the examination room, station systems quietly monitored the flagged scan. A distant administrator received a notification indicating unusual findings related to human genetics. Curiosity began spreading through internal channels. Though details remained restricted, Lyra continued the examination, testing Daniel's reflexes and neural response. Each result supported her growing theory. His brain demonstrated strong pattern recognition and quick learning responses. Minor tasks became easier for him after only one demonstration, suggesting a neurological flexibility rarely seen in advanced civilizations. Daniel laughed lightly when she mentioned his learning speed. "That's just normal for us," he said. "We figure things out as we go." Lyra found that statement deeply meaningful. Many advanced species relied heavily on technology for stability, reducing the need for rapid adaptation. Humans, by contrast, seemed comfortable with uncertainty. As the scan concluded, she stepped back, reviewing everything she had learned in the past hour. A simple medical exam had turned into something much larger. She felt both excitement and concern. If her interpretation was correct, humanity represented a unique evolutionary path, one built around change rather than perfection. Daniel stepped down from the platform, stretching his arms. "So am I healthy?" he asked. "Yes," she replied honestly. "More than healthy." He smiled, relieved, but Lyra's thoughts raced ahead. She knew this discovery could change how the galaxy viewed humans. Some would be fascinated. Others might be afraid. For now, she chose silence. She would study the data carefully before sharing it. She owed her patient that respect. As Daniel prepared to leave, Lyra watched him closely. He moved with ordinary confidence, unaware that his DNA carried secrets capable of reshaping scientific understanding across the stars. And as the door closed behind him, she turned back to the glowing display, realizing that she had only begun to uncover the mystery hidden within humanity itself. Dr. Lyra remained standing in front of the glowing display long after Daniel left the examination chamber. The room felt quieter than before, but her thoughts moved quickly. She replayed the scan results again and again, hoping to find a simple explanation that would reduce her concern. Each time the same patterns appeared, human DNA was not unstable, but it was flexible in ways she had never seen. It looked like a system designed to respond to change rather than resist it. She slowly sat down and began organizing her notes. Professional training told her to remain objective. No matter how unusual the results seemed, she needed to observe carefully and avoid assumptions. Still, she could not ignore the feeling that she had discovered something important. The medical station around her continued its normal rhythm. Patients from dozens of species moved through the corridors, guided by soft lights and automated assistants. Somewhere far away, engines hummed as ships docked and departed. Life went on as usual, but Lyra felt as if she had stepped into a different reality. She called Daniel back to the room under the explanation that she needed to complete additional tests. He returned without hesitation, curious but relaxed. When he entered, he noticed that the lights in the room were slightly dimmer, and new equipment had been activated around the scanning platform. "Is everything okay?" he asked.
Lyra nodded. "Yes."
"I only need to ask a few more questions and run deeper analysis. Your earlier results showed interesting patterns." "That sounds serious." "It is unusual," she admitted. She guided him to a comfortable chair and began asking about human history. He spoke about Earth's environments, deserts, oceans, forests, frozen lands, and how humans had adapted to survive in each place. He described how people learned quickly from mistakes and passed knowledge to future generations. Lyra listened carefully. As he spoke, she compared his stories with the genetic data displayed beside her. The hidden sequences seemed connected to adaptability under stress. She wondered if human culture and biology supported each other in ways the galaxy had not considered before. She asked about emotional responses. Humans were often described as intense compared to other species. Daniel explained that emotions helped humans connect with each other and respond to danger quickly. Fear could create caution. Anger could inspire action. And hope helped them continue even during difficult situations. Many advanced species had reduced emotional intensity over time, believing it improved stability. Humans, however, appeared to use emotion as a tool for survival. While they spoke, she activated another scan, focusing on neural activity. The display showed how Daniel's brain reacted to new information. When she presented unfamiliar alien symbols, his brain formed new connections rapidly. Within minutes, he recognized patterns that usually required hours of study. "You adapt quickly," she said quietly. "I guess humans just learn by doing?" The system completed another layer of genetic analysis, revealing more details about the dormant sequences. They appeared inactive under normal conditions, but contained instructions for increased endurance, focus, and recovery. Lyra realized that human DNA might activate these sequences during extreme stress or danger. She paused, feeling a mixture of excitement and responsibility. Discoveries like this could attract attention from powerful organizations. She did not want Daniel to become a subject of unwanted interest. Outside the room, a notification reached the medical council. An automated system flagged the genetic scan as containing patterns outside known biological classifications. A senior observer requested access, but Lyra delayed approval, citing ongoing analysis. She needed more time. Daniel noticed her hesitation. "You look worried," he said gently. "I am thinking," she replied. "Science requires patience." He leaned back, watching the equipment move around him. Despite the strange situation, he remained calm. Lyra found that remarkable. Many patients became nervous during extended testing, but Daniel treated the experience like an interesting puzzle. She asked him about his work as an engineer. He explained how humans often repaired machines by improvising solutions when standard tools failed. He described how they learned from trial and error. Lyra connected this mindset with the adaptability she observed in his biology. Humans seemed comfortable with uncertainty, treating challenges as opportunities rather than threats. Suddenly, a soft alarm sounded through the station. A minor systems malfunction caused fluctuations in environmental control within a nearby sector. Lights flickered briefly before stabilizing. Lyra glanced at the notification but continued her work. The station handled small incidents regularly. However, the problem grew more serious when a maintenance drone reported difficulty stabilizing a control panel near the medical wing. Daniel noticed the alert on a nearby display. "That system looks like it's struggling," he said, pointing to the diagram. Lyra hesitated. Medical staff usually avoided technical areas during emergencies, but Daniel's experience as an engineer made him valuable. After a moment, she allowed him to observe the situation from a safe distance. They stepped into a corridor where maintenance drones attempted to repair a control console, emitting sparks of light. Alien engineers worked nearby but struggled with unexpected feedback loops. Daniel watched carefully, studying the unfamiliar interface. "May I try something?" he asked. One of the engineers looked doubtful, but nodded after Lyra confirmed Daniel's technical background. He approached slowly, examining the symbols and controls. Even though the system used alien design principles, he identified patterns similar to human engineering logic. He adjusted a sequence carefully, isolating the malfunctioning circuit. The system stabilized almost immediately, and the alarm faded into silence. The engineers exchanged surprised looks. Daniel stepped back modestly. "Just guessed based on patterns," he said. Lyra watched closely, realizing she had just witnessed human adaptability in action. He had learned a completely unfamiliar system within minutes, and solved a problem others struggled with. They returned to the examination room, and Lyra felt more certain about her theory. Human biology and psychology work together to create rapid adjustment during challenges. The dormant genetic sequences might enhance focus and resilience when needed. She finally allowed the medical council limited access to the scan results. Within moments, a remote observer appeared on the display. The council member examined the data silently, then looked toward Lyra. "These findings are unusual," the observer said. "We request full analysis." Lyra agreed, but insisted that Daniel's privacy remain protected. The council accepted temporarily, though she sensed growing interest behind their calm tone. Daniel listened quietly as they discussed his biology. He felt slightly uncomfortable but trusted Lyra's professionalism. She reassured him that he was not in danger and that the test showed he was healthy. After the call ended, she sat quietly for a moment. "Your species may be more complex than we believed," she said. Daniel smiled softly. "Humans are full of surprises." Lyra returned the smile, though her thoughts remained serious. She realized that this discovery might change how humanity was viewed across the galaxy. Some would see opportunity, others potential risk. She ended the session for the day, allowing Daniel to rest. As he left the room again, she watched thoughtfully. The mystery of human DNA had only deepened, and she felt certain that the answers would lead to something much larger than a simple medical discovery. When the door closed, she turned back to the display once more, preparing to explore the hidden layers of human biology further, knowing that each new discovery might challenge everything the galaxy believed about evolution and strength. Lyra spent the next few hours reviewing the data from Daniel's scans in meticulous detail. The room was quiet, except for the soft hum of equipment and the gentle whir of sensors moving over holographic displays. The more she studied, the more she realized how unique human biology truly was. Every layer of his DNA seemed to contain instructions for adaptation. Cells could repair themselves at a speed no other species demonstrated. Neural pathways could reroute rapidly when faced with new challenges. Even subtle emotional cues seemed to trigger responses that increased focus and endurance. She had never seen anything like it, not in centuries of studying thousands of species. Lyra ran simulations on the station's main processors, modeling how human biology would respond under different conditions. Extreme heat, low oxygen, high radiation, rapid movement, psychological stress. In every scenario, the human model adapted efficiently. Sometimes cells healed instantly. Sometimes, neurons formed entirely new connections to allow problem-solving that was both fast and precise. The results were so unexpected that she double-checked the input data. Everything was accurate. Human DNA was flexible in ways no one had ever recorded. Daniel returned after a short break, carrying a small toolkit from his ship. He had been helping with routine maintenance in a nearby section of the station. Lyra motioned for him to sit, but her mind was still on the simulations. She began explaining some of the findings in simple terms, careful to avoid technical language that might confuse him.
"You have systems in your body that I have never seen before," she said. "They allow your cells to respond quickly to injuries, to stress, even to learning tasks. Your body doesn't just exist, it changes to meet challenges."
So I'm like a walking survival kit? He joked, but there was genuine curiosity in his voice. Lyra smiled faintly, but she continued. Not exactly. Other species can survive in their environments, but your species can adapt to multiple environments rapidly, almost in real time. That is rare, Daniel. Very rare. He leaned back, thinking. I guess that explains why humans have survived so many dangerous things on Earth. We had to. Hurricanes, fires, cold, war. We just kept going. But I never thought it was built into our DNA.
Lyra nodded. It is more than survival instinct.
It is genetic flexibility. You can recover from injuries faster, your mind can adjust faster, and your body prepares for stress without you even knowing it. That combination does not exist anywhere else in the galaxy. The soft lights in the room reflected off his hair as he leaned forward, curious. So, does that mean humans are special? Lyra hesitated. Her duty as a scientist was to remain objective, but she felt compelled to answer honestly. From a biological perspective, yes. Humans have potential that is not fully understood. What you can do naturally without technology is remarkable. She paused, then decided to test another aspect. She asked Daniel to solve a series of unfamiliar mechanical puzzles displayed on a holographic interface. Each one used alien logic he had never seen before. Normally, it would take months for an alien engineer to understand the principles behind them. Daniel, however, quickly recognized patterns, adjusted strategies, and solved every puzzle. Lyra's heart raced. The neural response simulations were confirming what she had observed in reality. Humans could adapt their problem-solving strategies far faster than any known species. Their brains rewired themselves to suit the challenge, and their bodies supported that mental activity with remarkable resilience. While they worked, a soft alarm sounded from a nearby sector. An environmental control system was failing, causing minor atmospheric instability in a laboratory module. Lyra frowned but did not stop the session. She trusted the station's automated systems to handle small fluctuations. Daniel, however, noticed the alarm and instinctively moved toward a console on the wall. "Do you want me to check it?" he asked. Lyra hesitated. Technically, it was outside his clearance, and many species would not be allowed to intervene. But Daniel had proven his skill and adaptability, and she sensed that he could handle the task. She nodded. "Carefully. Observe before you act." He examined the console, noting the alien symbols and wiring patterns. Within minutes, he identified a misaligned power flow causing the instability. Carefully, he rerouted the energy channels and corrected the issue. The alarms faded, and normal operation resumed. Lyra watched silently, her mind racing. Human adaptability was not only biological, but also cognitive. Daniel's ability to assess, adjust, and act under pressure demonstrated how human survival instincts extended beyond instinct alone. They were deeply integrated with intelligence, learning, and resilience. After the emergency, Daniel returned to the examination room, slightly flushed, but smiling. "All fixed. The system seems stable again." "I am impressed.
That was a situation most other species would have struggled with.
Your quick thinking confirms what your biology suggested. Humans can respond rapidly under pressure, both physically and mentally. Daniel leaned back in the chair, a hint of pride in his expression. I just do what feels natural. I guess humans are good at improvising. Lyra activated a further set of scans, focusing on stress response triggers in his DNA. The results were astounding. Certain genes activated only in extreme circumstances, enhancing stamina, perception, and focus. Cells repaired faster, neural connections strengthened, and even the cardiovascular system adjusted dynamically to support the increased activity. This is extraordinary, she whispered. Humans are designed to adapt to almost any environment, almost any challenge. Daniel's expression changed to curiosity mixed with concern. So...
You mean humans are dangerous? Lyra considered carefully. Dangerous is not the right word.
You are capable of things the galaxy does not fully understand. That capability could be a risk if misused, or it could be an advantage if applied responsibly.
What makes you remarkable is your ability to survive, adapt, and solve problems under stress. That is different from being destructive.
Daniel relaxed slightly. I see. I never thought of it that way. On Earth, we just did what we had to do. We survived because survival was necessary, not because we had hidden powers. Lyra nodded.
That practicality is part of your strength. It means you do not need to know everything to succeed.
Your body and mind adapt to fill the gaps. They continued the session, exploring more of Daniel's genetic responses. Lyra used simulations to recreate different scenarios: extreme cold, high radiation, low oxygen, simulated combat, and complex problem-solving tasks. In every simulation, Daniel's systems adapted within moments. He responded to the unfamiliar environment faster than any other species Lyra had ever tested. She paused to review her notes. Each result confirmed her growing theory. Human adaptability was not a small anomaly. It was a systematic feature of the species. Humans could respond to extreme stress, learn new skills quickly, and adjust both mentally and physically at a speed unmatched in the galaxy. Lyra decided to take one more step. She instructed Daniel to perform a physical task designed to test endurance and reflexes simultaneously. He climbed a small obstacle course, balancing on moving platforms, reacting to shifting obstacles. His body adjusted constantly. Muscles fine-tuned for balance, vision adjusted to light changes, heart rate regulated to support mental focus. The data was staggering. His heart, lungs, muscles, and nervous system coordinated with remarkable efficiency. Every cell seemed to support the overall task. No other species could sustain such coordinated adaptation without fatigue or error. When he finished, he smiled, slightly out of breath, but exhilarated. That was fun, he said lightly. Lyra could only nod, impressed and thoughtful. Your species is unique, Daniel. Your biology and mind work together in ways we cannot yet fully explain. You adapt because you must, and that necessity makes you resilient. She reviewed all the data once more and realized the implications extended beyond a single individual. If all humans shared these features, the species had a latent potential for rapid adaptation, problem-solving, and survival that no one else could match. The galaxy had underestimated them. At that moment, Lyra made a decision. She would continue her study, documenting every detail carefully. She would protect Daniel from premature exposure, but she knew the Council would eventually learn of her findings. Humanity's uniqueness could spark curiosity, collaboration, or fear. Daniel sensed her contemplation.
Are you worried about telling others? He asked. Yes, she admitted.
I must be cautious. Your species' abilities are remarkable, but not everyone will understand them the way I do. Daniel smiled faintly. Then let's take it one step at a time. You already know more than most people will ever realize. Lyra nodded and returned to the display. She began analyzing further layers of human DNA, looking for patterns that might explain the origins of this adaptability. She knew that what she discovered today was only the beginning. Humans had hidden depths, and the galaxy had not yet seen their full potential. The day faded as they worked together, exploring the limits of human biology. Lyra felt a growing sense of respect for the species she had studied for years but never truly understood. Daniel, unaware of the extraordinary implications of his genetic design, continued to approach each test with curiosity, calm, and natural adaptability. By the time evening arrived on the station, Lyra realized that humanity was more than just another species. Humans represented a force of evolution in motion, a species that thrived on challenge, growth, and adaptation. And as she reviewed the latest data one final time that day, she understood that she had only begun to uncover the true story of humanity's hidden potential. Daniel walked through the station corridors, feeling more at ease than he had since arriving. After hours of examination and unexpected tests, he had grown comfortable with Dr. Lyra and the strange, futuristic environment. The station was alive with activity. Humans and aliens alike moved with purpose, carrying equipment, attending appointments, or simply moving between sections. He admired the flowing architecture, the smooth curves and glowing panels that guided travelers effortlessly. Everything seemed designed to make life efficient. Yet he noticed the faint tension among some species. He guessed it was the usual curiosity and caution directed toward humans, but he paid little attention. Lyra, on the other hand, remained in the examination chamber, reviewing the layers of Daniel's genetic data. Every time she thought she understood, a new detail emerged. Hidden sequences, latent responses, adaptive markers, and neural flexibility all suggested a species capable of extraordinary adaptability. It was not strength in the traditional sense, not physical superiority or aggressive power. Instead, it was resilience, intelligence, and rapid evolution combined. Humans could learn, react, and adjust faster than any other species Lyra had studied. As she continued, an alert appeared on her console. Another section of the station reported an environmental imbalance. This time, it was more serious than before. An air circulation module was malfunctioning, creating pressure fluctuations in the habitation area. The situation demanded immediate attention. Engineers were already on site, but the anomaly was complex. Lyra considered the situation carefully. Normally, medical staff would not intervene in engineering issues, but she glanced at Daniel's last demonstration of problem-solving under pressure. His ability to recognize patterns quickly and act effectively suggested he could be of real help. She debated asking him, but then remembered that he had been a calm and reliable participant in her observations all day. Carefully, she authorized a message requesting Daniel's assistance. He received the request on a portable display and immediately moved toward the affected section. The corridors seemed longer than usual as he hurried, yet he remained focused. Arriving at the malfunctioning module, he assessed the situation. Pipes carrying pressurized air were misaligned, and the automated regulators were struggling to compensate. Alien engineers were present, but unfamiliar with the pattern logic. Watching Daniel as he began to analyze the system, he moved deliberately, adjusting valves and rerouting pressure channels. Small sparks flew as energy regulators aligned incorrectly. But Daniel remained calm. He noticed a pattern in the feedback loops, similar to challenges he had faced on his ship. Slowly, steadily, he corrected the misalignment, and the air pressure normalized. The alarms ceased, and the engineers exchanged astonished glances. Daniel stepped back, wiping sweat from his brow. Lyra arrived moments later, having monitored the situation remotely. She studied him carefully, noting not only his physical actions but the neural and adaptive responses displayed in real-time data. Every movement, every decision, every adjustment confirmed her growing theory. Humans thrived under challenge because their biology and mind responded dynamically, supporting problem-solving in ways no other species could. She said quietly, "You handled that perfectly."
Your species adapts faster than any I've studied. Daniel smiled faintly, catching his breath.
It just felt like fixing a machine. You figure it out and act. That's what we've always done.
That's remarkable. Most species rely heavily on routines or technological guidance.
Humans rely on instinct, logic, and adaptation simultaneously. They returned to the examination chamber, and Lyra continued her research. The data indicated that human DNA carried dormant sequences, activated only under stress or unusual conditions. These sequences enhanced mental acuity, focus, physical endurance, and even cellular recovery. In effect, human biology was designed to prepare for challenges without conscious control, as if survival itself guided the body and mind simultaneously. Daniel watched her work in fascination. So all of this, my body is capable of all that without me knowing? Yes, Lyra replied. You survive, adapt, and learn because your body supports it. The genome responds automatically to stressors, while your mind adjusts to solve problems. The combination is rare, and no other species we know of has such integrated flexibility. He thought for a moment. No wonder humans keep surviving difficult situations. We never thought of it as special. We just did what we had to do. Lyra smiled faintly. That perspective itself is part of your strength. You do not overanalyze. You act, and your biology supports success. The station's medical council requested a live update on Daniel's genetic assessment. Lyra, understanding the potential implications, prepared a careful presentation. She explained that humans demonstrated a unique form of adaptability, combining rapid cognitive learning, physical resilience, and stress-activated biological enhancements. She emphasized that while humans were not inherently dangerous, their capabilities were unprecedented. Council members observed quietly, absorbing the data. Some were skeptical, expecting exaggeration or errors. Lyra provided detailed readings and live simulations of Daniel's responses to unfamiliar challenges, both physical and mental. When council members witnessed him solving complex problems and responding to environmental fluctuations instinctively, skepticism turned to fascination. One member asked cautiously, "Are all humans capable of this level of adaptation, or is this individual exceptional?" This is one sample, but genetic studies indicate these sequences exist across the species. Environmental triggers activate them naturally. The result is that most humans can adapt far more effectively than previously recognized, given similar challenges. Daniel shifted in his chair, suddenly aware of the attention his species was attracting. He tried to downplay it. We've always adapted. It's just how we survive. The council considered this quietly. Lyra continued. Human adaptability is not just physical. Cognitive flexibility and problem-solving capacity are integral. This species thrives in uncertainty, improvises solutions quickly, and maintains resilience under conditions that would overwhelm most other species. If these traits are universal, it changes our understanding of humans. They are not merely survivors. They are a species designed to respond dynamically to challenges. Lyra nodded. Exactly. They do not seek power. They survive. Their potential lies in resilience, learning, and adaptability, not domination. Daniel leaned back, listening quietly, realizing the magnitude of the discovery. He had lived through difficult situations on Earth without thinking much of it. He had believed survival was about perseverance and community, never imagining that his DNA contained mechanisms to enhance that process automatically. Lyra activated another simulation. This time, it presented Daniel with a combined physical and mental challenge. He had to navigate a complex obstacle course while solving unfamiliar logic patterns projected in holographic panels. Sensors monitored his neural activity, physical responses, and decision-making speed. The results were extraordinary. His body adjusted instantly to maintain balance and coordination. Heart rate and oxygen distribution optimized automatically. Muscles responded precisely, and his brain formed rapid connections to solve logic puzzles concurrently. No other species could manage this level of simultaneous adaptation without fatigue or error. Lyra documented every detail, aware that these observations could shift the galaxy's understanding of humanity. Humans were not just one of many species. They represented an evolutionary approach that emphasized dynamic adaptability over static perfection. Daniel completed the challenge with a grin.
That was more than I expected. Lyra looked at him thoughtfully. It demonstrates what I have observed all day.
You and your species excel under challenge, not because of inherent power, but because your mind and body adapt together. That is rare, and it is valuable.
Daniel relaxed slightly. I suppose humans survive because we must, not because we're extraordinary.
We do what is necessary, and somehow we keep going. Lyra nodded. Yes, necessity has shaped your biology and cognition. That combination is remarkable. It is both practical and extraordinary, depending on how one views it. The council concluded the session by acknowledging the importance of Lyra's findings. They agreed that humanity deserved careful observation and collaborative study, but they recognized that exposure must be managed to avoid misunderstanding or fear. Humans were not dangerous intentionally, but their potential could influence many aspects of galactic interaction. As Daniel prepared to leave the chamber, he reflected on the day's events. He had started expecting a simple examination and ended up demonstrating traits that might redefine how humans were perceived across the stars, yet he remained grounded. Survival had always been simple for him. Act, learn, adapt, repeat. The council's attention did not change that instinct. Lyra watched him depart, feeling a deep respect for his species. She realized that humanity's strength lay not in dominance or power, but in resilience, ingenuity, and the ability to thrive under conditions that would challenge others. Humans were survivors by design, and their potential had barely begun to reveal itself. As the doors closed behind Daniel, Lyra turned back to the glowing display. New data streams awaited, simulations to analyze, and questions that demanded answers. Humanity had shown her a type of evolution she had never witnessed before. One based on change, growth, and adaptability rather than perfection. And she knew that the galaxy had yet to see what humans could truly achieve. Hours passed as Lyra continued her study, exploring every dormant sequence, every adaptive trigger, and every neural response. She documented each finding with care, aware that this research could shape not only the understanding of humans, but the future of interspecies cooperation. By the time the station's artificial night cycle began, Lyra sat back, reviewing the accumulated data. Daniel had left the chamber hours ago, but his presence lingered in the patterns, the simulations, and the records she now held. Humans were more than survivors. They were pioneers of adaptability, capable of meeting challenges in ways the galaxy had never imagined. Lyra allowed herself a small smile. She had begun to understand the truth. Human potential was extraordinary, not because they sought it, but because they had no choice but to adapt, to grow, and to survive. And in that simplicity, there was a power no one could predict. From the quiet of her laboratory, she realized that she had only scratched the surface. Humanity's journey had just begun, and the discoveries ahead would challenge everything she thought she knew about life, evolution, and survival. The stars outside the station glimmered softly, silent witnesses to a species whose strength lay not in dominance, but in the extraordinary capacity to endure, adapt, and thrive in the face of the unknown. Humans, she reflected, were not merely part of the galaxy. They were a force of living evolution, waiting to reveal themselves fully.